Yo guys, what's up? Today we're playing versus Fiora as Jax in the top lane. Skill matchup, but a bit tricky in the early levels. Fiora does have an advantage in the early levels. There she Qs me while I'm Eing to time her Q that it would proc the vital after I release my E, well played by her. There she gets the back vital on me. Like I said, right, it's kind of hard for you to trade well into Fiora early. She has the advantage. Not like you can't do it, right? Like right there, if you can catch her in E, then you're in a good spot. Then you do win those trades. But she does have the mobility and just the strength in the early lanes to outtrade you, right? However, she wasn't pressuring me hard enough, so I used this opportunity, or she was pressuring me, but she wasn't pressuring the minions. She wasn't hitting the minions very much, whereas I was hitting the minions a lot, and also my E helped push the minions in. So ideally, I'd like to get a 3 or 4 wave crash, but by then Fiora would poke me down way too hard. And if I didn't crash the wave there, then it would have gotten caught like very close to her tower. And Jax can't trade it this close to her tower, right? This is fine because it's pushing back to me, but if it had frozen towards her, if I had a minion advantage and it froze towards her, in this state right now, like, it'd be so bad for me. So right now, I'm just, I'm a little bit low on health. I'm just waiting for the wave to come back to me, just chilling. If you guys notice where I put the ward, by the way, you'll see I didn't put it in the bush or the tri-bush. I put it in a little nook there to be able to give me vision of the river and a little bit vision a little bit faster for if they come from the tri-bush versus if I had just put it in the river bush versus if I just put the ward in the river bush. So I'm just waiting for the wave to push to me. No rush. No nothing, See, here's the thing, right? I could try to trade with her here because she's close to my tower. However, we are disciplined gamers, and disciplined gamers don't go for the instant dopamine of trying to get just a trade that you might win anyway, or might win right here, right? Because the thing is, yes, I might win a trade here because she's so close to the tower I'd be able to get a short trade off, but I would still take damage. And here's the thing, in a scenario like this, when the wave is pushing to you like it was, I can't, if she takes the trade, she can just recall, right? The wave's gonna crash into me, and then she can just recall, and then I still have to push out the wave here, like I'm in the position right here, right? But if I'd taken that trade, I'd just be so much lower on health, and she would, any damage she took, she can just recall, right? Not to mention that if you take a bad trade on a wave like that, you're risking getting dove by the enemy jungler, and if you lose that wave, it gets so scuffed. That's the other thing, right? If you take a trade like that, it might turn, like something might go wrong, and then you die, and then that's also FF, So, no thank you. I'm just gonna play it safe and get the wave in. Here I was just setting up a slow push, and now that she's back in lane, I'm going to, if I don't hard push this wave, it's going to freeze against her tower, right? Like get caught in front of her tower. So I just use my passive, stack my passive, and start hard shoving the wave. You see, Fiora does what I didn't want to do, right? Right here, Fiora trades in my wave like I didn't want to, right? And she gets punished for it because my jungler is there. And now look at this horrible spot she's in, right? She she dies there and she loses that whole wave. If she didn't trade there and didn't waste her W, right? We wouldn't have been able to dive her. We probably wouldn't have been able to dive her. And then she would have been able to farm that up and the wave would have pushed back. Now she had to blow her TP as well. What a disaster for her. And that is why you do not coin flip the game like that. Because if you're the better player, you don't need to coin flip the game. You just win it through just better movement and better just gameplay in general. Here I time her TP because timing summoners is super valuable, especially stuff like Flash and TP. Well, all summoners to be honest, but TP is a big one because now I can know when I can push a wave into her or not. Right? So now the wave is pushing back to me again. I don't know where their jungler is. So if I get ganked here and die, that would suck, right? That would be freaking horrible. So I'm just going to, let the wave crash into me. I'm just going to let the wave push into me and crash it and farm it. Also, she just hit 6. So that's the other thing. She was about to hit 6 there. See, now I see Nunu's bot. So now I don't have to worry about Nunu specifically, but the wave is so big at this point I can't contest. Yasuo is outplaying the Aurelia. Yasuo and Aurelia doing Aurelia things. I combo the minion wave there. So now I know Nunu's bot side, right? So now I go and I reset the Vital. My goal here is to try to set up a freeze on her, because now I know Nunu's not bot. I'm so far ahead of, or now I know Nunu's bot, so I don't have to worry about him. And I'm so far ahead of her that I feel like I could set up a freeze here. Here I get her W. So now my job, now I want to try to stall out her, I want to stall for my E now. Because when her W is a much longer cooldown than my E. So if I can just wait. Here she takes a tower shot, and I go for it. I go for the fight here to stall for my E, but I just one-shot her with the W. I went for that fight because I only had a few seconds up on E, and I didn't think she'd be able to kill me before my E came back, and the moment my E comes back, I win the fight. But I just one-tap her with the W. So that makes it easy. And if you guys enjoy the some Fiora stomping, then remember to like and subscribe for more videos. So yeah. Just you're buying my items, you know, crashing the wave and getting another lead. She doesn't have TP, so she can't even catch that wave, you know, getting punished even more for having blown her TP earlier. Now I've got such a huge lead on her. Using my queuing on the creep wave to get to the lane faster is a really nice thing you can do if you are running to the lane with the creep wave. You can just queue hop up the creep wave as you walk. It's a good time. So here we are again. You see, I see Nunu mid, so now I'm willing to go for a trade. She uses her W. Interesting. Here I mess up my W, so I have to Q on her to get it. That gives her another vital proc, which not optimal, but whatever, it's fine. Still win the trade. Here I feel like I was going to kill her, but I mess it up. But here's Karthus R for me, so it's fine. And then we just, yeah, I just leap away because I don't want Nunu to just freaking kill me. So just crash the wave here. Karthus helps me out. Thank you, Mr. Karthus. And knowing that Fiora doesn't have TP, I decide, you know what? I'm gonna grab a plate. Maybe two. And then run. Here, Karthus is just freaking destroying the Nunu. Karthus is just freaking smurfing at this game. 702, 600 gold bounty like cripes. Back to lane. I consider, I could sell my biscuits and my D-shield for a Divine Sunderer. But at this point, I feel like I'm so far ahead of the Fiora that I don't actually need that extra power. So I decide, you know what, I'll just keep the D-shield. If it was a D-blade, that's the thing. I'm much more willing to sell a D-blade than a D-shield. I mean, I'm much more willing to sell a D-shield than a D-blade later in the game because D-blade scales much better than D-shield does. D-shield falls off pretty hard after you get some levels. But still, it's stats, and I don't want to sell it if I don't have to, right? So here I decide to freeze the wave. Go hit the minions with the E so that they're stunned, so that they don't auto-attack me for that extra second. Here, while I'm fighting her, you notice I'm moving towards the wall so that she can't proc the Vital. That's one thing you can do versus Fiora. You can just walk to if a Vital spawns on a side of you, and you can get to a wall to block that Vital, to put your side of that Vital to the wall. You can just deny her from proccing it entirely, and then she's just kind of really sad, you know, because Fiora is not actually that deadly if she doesn't proc her Vitals. You can also do it if she ults you, by the way. She'll proc the 3 Vitals if you go stand up against the wall. She'll proc 3 of the Vitals that aren't against the wall, right? But then she won't be able to proc the last one. Then she's not getting any new Vitals to proc, and also she can't proc the healing field from her ultimate, right? So here I grab a plate because I really want to buy my Divine Sunder and Ionian Boots on this back, because that's such a powerful buy. It's so much ability haste, and it's your Divine Sunder, so it's just, and also just all that movement speed from finishing the boots. It's just super nice. So now I wait for mana, and then I start strolling back over to lane. Yasuo's already taken mid tower here, so I don't have to worry too much about their mid laner. Some action in bot lane. We know Nunu's dead, so I don't have to worry about him in my lane for a little bit. Here I'm just going to go catch the wave. I see the Fiora is fighting the Yasuo. I move here to help, but I really don't need to. It's a Fiora without ult that's 2 levels down on the Yasuo that she's fighting. Like, it's just never going to happen. I probably didn't need to move there, but I just want to be there in case, you know, in case something ridiculous happens, just to cover him. And, you know, now that she died again, Hearts of the Wave. Here she has her TP back, but I still get a plate, right? So it's still perfectly fine. I don't want to go for the minions under the tower, the range creeps under the tower. It's a bit too deep, and I still need to respect Fiora because, you know, Fiora is still Fiora. I just get some proper vision here. Here I want to trade with her, right? Because I have my Mythic, she doesn't, and Mythic is such a huge power spike, right? I'm perfectly willing to see how I'm trading around my Divine Sunderer procs. See, you really don't want to be trading against, you really don't want to be messing with somebody that has their Divine Sunderer and when you don't, you know? It's just being part of being consistent. It's just part of being consistent, you know? You don't want to take trades that you're very likely to lose, you know? And, yeah, the Fiora just kind of, you know, did another coin flip there. But at this point, she was just trying for desperate play, I guess. But, you know, that's so unlikely to work out. You don't really want to mess with that. You don't really want to mess with the guy who has a mythic item on you. So here I decide to go for the Frozen Heart because it's so much value, right? They have 3 AD, Fiora, Aurelia, and I believe their ADC is Kai'Sa. Yes, Kai'Sa. So for the Frozen Heart works very well versus the Aurelia and the Kai'Sa. It's super good into them, and it's fine into the Fiora as well. It's not like there are better items for Fiora because, you know, she does true damage and the attack speed reduction doesn't affect her that much, but, you know, it still helps and still really nice. And I'm not too worried about going MR because their AP damage dealers are Karma and Nunu, right? It's a tank and a support. Here I rotate bot lane for Dragon and to look for a play. Here, and then I see that their mid lane is pushing up, and I just decide, you know what, just don't let her do that. She just, you know, accepts her fate a little bit there. And I go back top lane. In time to, and I'll be in time to catch most of the minions, right? I was willing to sack the wave there because I was willing to give her some time alone with my tower because the thing is that plates have already fallen, right? So I'm not too worried about her dealing damage to my tower now after plates have fallen. So I was willing to look for a play bot lane there. But, you know, then things played out the way it did. My team didn't need me bot lane, and I got to cover mid lane and then come catch my farm as well. So, you know, super win. Super huge win. I'm just shoving out top lane here. I see my Yasuo, he's fighting there. I start moving towards him. Comes the Karthus ult. The Yasuo is still super far ahead. And I don't even get an assist or anything. They did not need me. But, you know, I rotate to it. It's just a small diversion anyway, right? Like, because I was going to come this direction anyway to help push the wave. Kai'Sa's pushing the tower down there. Which is fair by her, honestly. Like, that's not the worst thing she could do. She gets an objective bounty. I really want this tower because it is, you know, 600 gold, right? The second tier tower is always so nice to grab. It's not as worth because the Karthus just sits there to make sure that he gets the gold share. But yeah, I don't know how worth it is if you split it 3 ways. But, you know, 600 gold is still nice. The Nunu comes in. I have no mana, so I don't actually want to fight this. At this point, I just kind of want to leave. I have mana enough for, like, Q and an E, and after that, I've just got nothing. Here I decide to just help the Karthus, but he doesn't need me. At this point, I decide, yeah, you know, like, this fight is never going to play out the way we want it to. I can't help in it because I have no mana, so, you know, take the fights that you can help with, right? If there's a fight that, like, you absolutely cannot do anything in, then, you know, don't bother really going for it. Just, you know, just back, get yourself, go do something else. Here, I finish my Frozen Heart, and then I start going for a Black Cleaver here, because here's the thing. Usually if they have an AP, I'd like to go Wit's End, but I'm not really scared of their AP at all, right? It's an underfed Nunu and a... I mean, I don't know about underfed actually, but it's a Nunu. Like, it's a tank and a support, right? Like I said, I'm not too scared of their AP. So I decide to go with a Black Cleaver instead because I want the ability haste. The ability haste will be so good into their team, helps with the mobility. Shorter cooldown on my E as well. So this is just really good. Here I just have vision on her there for some reason, so I just bonk her as she's coming in. It's a good time. Not for her, of course, but you know, for me. There's a fight going on in mid, but I am just you know, they probably don't need me. Yeah, they don't need me. I moved down for a second to see if, in case they do, but they don't, so I decide to keep pushing top lane. Shove another wave here. Push out the side lanes, and then maybe look for a play, or maybe just keep pushing and see how the game progresses. They have 3 down still, so there's still time. In a previous patch, I might have taken Krugs here, but Krugs actually take so long to clear these days. Like, it's just like the amount of gold they give to the amount of the amount of time they take to the amount of gold they give is just not. It's not like a waste of time, right? But, you know. So here I go, I jump on the Kai'Sa. I get exhaust, I get her flash, I get her exhaust. Every instinct in my body, every bone in my body is telling me to flash on her there. But I realize, like, my brain takes over and I realize that would be just inconsistent, right? And what are we? We are disciplined gamers. We do not just go for the flip, right? Because I would probably kill the Kai'Sa there, right? But I'd have used my flash, I'd have used my Q, and then the Karma and the Nunu would probably just get me there while I'm under tower, right? Because I'd have to flash in her under tower pretty much there. So, it wouldn't be worth it. So, I just go, I keep my flash, and just back off with my team. Also, it doesn't help that the 2 people I'd be left with would be people I don't have any MR against. Here I get a bit surprised that the Lucian actually gets dropped by the Fiora. I wasn't expecting that, like, but apparently Fiora's dueling's pretty good, you know, the 0-9 Fiora, she gets him. Team's making another play, rip Nunu. I'm so bad at taking the Hex Gates, I always forget to. But luckily I didn't take that one because I'm on my way, because I decided that my team doesn't need me bot lane anymore, they took out 2 of them, right, so I decide to go top lane here. And catch the wave. Maybe get the Aurelia if she's still there, but she isn't. Which is to be expected. We can see she backed, Kai'Sa's backed. So, you know, just shove the wave up here. Team takes bot side tower. Dragon's up, so they can take that while I pressure up here as well. I have TP if things go wrong. I don't want to mess with the Fiora too much because I don't actually know where their team is. I saw their bot lane in mid just now, but I wasn't sure at that moment where their Karma was, and I didn't know where Nunu was. So I decided, you know what, play it safe. I'm so far ahead anyway. Don't throw just before. Don't throw while Baron's up, right? It's not worth it. Here we go for the Nunu. Nice, good stuff. I loop around to go help with the Baron. Here Fiora wants to mess with me. I mess up my E. I didn't catch her in it. But I just kind of face tank her vitals and just start beating on her. Because I'm so far ahead, right? Like, I just decide to keep going. She just runs into the Yasuo and he just gets himself a free 300 gold. Because yeah, the thing is, I played that, like, you know, suboptimally. I played it super aggressively because of how far ahead I am. But after I missed the first stun, I could have played it differently, that she didn't proc all of her vitals. But, you know, I decided that I will, you know, just play aggressively because I'm so far ahead. Here's Nunu, so, you know, I just walk up to him with the E. I don't need to use my Q, so I just keep going. So I don't use it until I have to use it to re-gap close on him. I could keep chasing, but I decided no, because I saw their whole team on the map moving up towards me. So that's a big no thank you. I would not like to throw my lead, thank you very much. So here I just pressure top lane while my team pushes mid with Baron and Herald. With Baron and Herald. But we get their Kai'Sa and we're pushing mid with Baron and Herald. So it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll just group with them and end. Oh, Nunu gets denied the Q on the Herald. And with that, Herald starts dancing and we pull out the win. And yeah, so that's that. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and hope to see you in the next one.